Jeez.
Um, Thanks for meeting with me, by the way. This is for my multicultural education class, and I'm just basically here to kind of like learn from your experience. And if there's any questions that you want to skip or whatever, you totally can. Even though I know you won't. Um, can you tell me a little bit about your background and the work you do now?
Yep. So, I'm a social worker, currently. I've been a social worker for, I don't know, I'm probably 2 decades in at this point.
Okay.
Kind of old, an old social worker at this, um, at this time. Started out working with, um, individuals who had like sex charges. And so I was doing some like rehabilitation work with that population. They're kind of like they were being integrated back into the community. And so I
Okay.
was just doing some work around that.
That's what you
Um,
started off with?
yeah, that was like my
Dang.
first population. Yeah. Yep.
That's
Um, and then kind of found my niche in kind of like homelessness services.
okay.
So worked for like a nonprofit for about 12 years, the same nonprofit for 12 years, and ran their entire homelessness division.
Wow.
So it went from like when I first started in 2012, there was like three little tiny baby housing programs. And by the time I resigned, about 12 years later, we were the largest housing program, one of the largest housing programs in the Twin
Wow.
Cities. And there's 26 different housing programs operating. So um, that's kind of where I
Wow.
found my niche and kind of what I ended up doing. And then COVID happened.
hmm
Um,
Is that when you retired from there?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, COVID happened and I had a little one and trying to juggle like daycare being closed and going to work and figuring out what work even
Mm.
like looked like during COVID was just a bit much for me. So I resigned from there and then just kind of started running my own consulting company, did a bunch of different projects.
Oh, nice. So you're self-employed currently?
Correct.
Oh,
Mhm.
nice. Good for you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
used to be self-employed, but I'm not a good business owner. I'll say that.
I love it. I wouldn't trade it for nothing with children. So
Yeah, that's very true. But I was a hairstylist, I guess, so like the hours weren't
yeah, yeah,
great.
yeah.
Um, when you think back on your school years, does anything like stand out most to you at all?
Like school years, like elementary, high school, or like
Yeah,
college?
yeah, yes, yes.
Elementary, high
Elementary, high
school.
school, or middle school, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. So like before college
Yes.
years, ultimately is what you're thinking. Yeah. Well, I despised school. I did everything about it. And the older I got, like from middle school, like it got really bad in middle school and high school. That was probably the worst. And then like I loved college. And then I
Oh,
went and got my
well,
master's and loved getting my master's. So like it really kind of
yeah.
flipped for me. Maybe because I had more control
hmm
over my life at that point. But yeah, I just did not. I was really like judged right away. Like people kind of put me into a bucket on what their expectations of me were based on like my family structure and who everyone thought I basically like you're poor,
hmm
you're raised by a single mom, so like we have zero expectations of you. Like I'll give you an example. This was like I don't know, like junior year of high school. You meet with a counselor who kind of helps you decide like what path you should
Right.
take, because like they know it all. And
Yeah.
anyways, she met with every single student but me because her expectations were that I wasn't even going to go to college.
Oh my God, and now
So
look at
that's just an
you.
example of just like I was kind of just like thrown into a pile of like this is what we don't expect, but this is what we expect of you. And
Yeah.
so, I kind of lived that out for a while.
Yeah.
Like I didn't go to school, like I didn't get
Did
good
you
grades.
did you
So,
grow up did you like were you in the same school district from
basically, we moved a lot until I hit junior high. Like
Okay.
9 times in 1 year is an example, like just constantly moving.
Wow.
So there was challenges in that, but what was nice about that is people didn't get to really know me long enough to judge me. But when I got stuck in like the permanent school district, then I was, then it was like, okay, we're gonna just put her in this bucket of
So from
people.
like
And
junior high on, you were in this like with
yeah,
the
yeah.
same group of kids and everything?
See, my friend circle was like wealthy and had prestige, but the teachers and the teachers threw me into
Huh.
kind of a pile of like, oh, she gets bad grades, she doesn't attend school, she's not ever gonna amount to anything. So they just kind of bucketed me a little bit into a different pile.
Man, that's awful. And so I'm assuming because you said single mother, it was your father that was incarcerated.
Correct.
Um, how do you feel like that affected your sense of stability or belonging at school? I mean, you talked about the belonging. I mean, a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think I had any stability. I don't think.
Yeah, 9 times in 1 year is crazy.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And even like when we lived in the same community, we moved houses a lot, and you just were never certain how long you would be in one spot. Like if my mom could afford rent the next month, or like things like that. So you just never really had. You were always just like, at what point is the ball going to drop? And I'm still like that as an adult in some sense. I'm
I
just like,
bet.
it's going too good.
Yeah, I bet.
Like,
Yeah,
when's
I might as well fall and break my nose or
yeah, yeah,
leave
yeah.
my phone on vacation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's just like completely lose consciousness and fall and then be out for like 3 weeks. But
Insane.
yeah, I think you just are always just like ready. Like your body's
Yeah.
like on just like overdrive, probably like cortisol rushes all the time where you're just kind of just waiting for like what's the next obstacle you're gonna have to kind of face.
Did you
Um,
have like because you were like, oh, if my mom could pay rent, were you aware of that or
Oh gosh, yes. It's from like
really?
the age of like 9. I mean, like
Mhm.
I like raised I basically raised my mom and my sister, to be honest. My mom
Mhm.
suffered from extreme depression, like
Mm,
debilitating depression. I didn't know what it was then. I clearly know what it is now
right.
because that's what I do. But I think her life was like so chaotic and in turmoil, and she couldn't take care of us financially the way that she wanted to, which
Hmm.
wasn't her fault.
Hmm.
Um, so I just think she like would like she'd go to work and come home and just like sleep and not able to take care of anything beyond that.
Yeah.
And so I took care, I did her laundry, and I made sure that we had like we we do like yeah, I just took care
You're
of
the
her.
oldest?
I'm the oldest.
Yeah, same. Of five.
Yeah, you
And
just get stuck with that
yep.
responsibility, whether you want it or not.
Yeah, but I was a single father. I was raised by a single father. So, but it was the same. Like
Yeah.
teach your siblings how to read, do their homework with them. Like you do the laundry, you take care of the household.
Yeah.
Um, was your dad kind of like in and out or what of jail or was he jail or prison?
Both.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so he was in and out, but there would be the, like longer stints, right?
Hmm.
So there would be like 4 years where you wouldn't see him at all because he's in prison somewhere. And then there would be times where like he's out, but like he's in and out of jail. He's making poor decisions, so he's not really around, or he would just randomly pop up. It's like I'd be at like a track meet, and then all of a sudden looking over, there's my
Like,
dad, and I didn't see
that's
them in
my
4 years.
girl.
It's like, well, hi, it's
Did he stay with you guys when he was out?
no, no,
Okay. So your mom and him like weren't they never got back together?
no,
Okay.
no.
All right. So during those times of housing instability, what were some challenges that you faced as a student that teachers might not have noticed?
Yeah, I mean, this is not, I don't think, going to be like earth shattering to any of you. I think, like schooling, not that schooling isn't important because like it's super duper important, but when you're trying to survive, like eat,
Mhm.
clothe, shower, have a roof over your head, like schooling just is secondary to that because you're like surviving, right? Like I lived in survival most of my life, and so I think that's what you would expect someone to
Mhm.
be and do. But I don't think teachers really understood that. I think it's like, well, school's important. Like you need to be here at 8. you need to do all these things. You need to do this 3 hours of homework. It's like, well, I don't even have a roof over my head. And now you want me to learn how to add and subtract. It's like, it's like not logical.
Right.
Um, and so I think teachers to just be a little bit more aware. And I know teachers
Hmm.
aren't social workers and that's not their job in a school setting. I totally understand that, but
Hmm.
you're not going to get through to them. Like your
Yeah.
strategy is not going to work. It just isn't. Like,
That's what I love about this program that at Metro State, the urban education program. It's like my mom went through this program, my best friend went through like the U of M, and I feel like the way my best friend teaches is so like for white people and like people that don't really struggle, and like this program that I'm in that my mom was in is so good about really driving it into you that like you build those relationships, you know your students, like so you can understand, you
mhm.
know, that like okay, they're experiencing homelessness, so I'm not gonna like dump homework on them and expect them when they're the ones cooking and you know cleaning and all taking care of their whole family. Um, were there, I know you said you hated school, but do you ever feel like it was a support system or do you feel like it was more of a barrier?
Yeah, no, I like looking back, I think there was opportunities for teachers to provide a level of support and be maybe an outlet for me.
Hmm.
Um, but none of the teachers that I were around ever did that, and none of them ever tapped into that. And I don't know if it's out of fear or, I was a really hard kid to tap into too. Like I have to own that. Like I was cold and I was mean and I
Oh,
was quick to
really?
anger. Oh, I was like, who I am now is, oh my gosh, you would not even
Girl,
recognize
please
me.
though, when I first met you, I was like, she hates me. She hates me. I don't
I'm just like,
know.
I'm just like more like, I'll like sit back and like I need to like feel people out before like
Yeah.
I really jump in. But like I was just like nasty.
Dang. Well, I mean,
In
yeah,
in
teenager
high
too.
school. I was just angry. I think I was just sheer like full of anger. I'm not like that anymore. Um,
No.
but yeah, I think the teachers were afraid of me, to be honest.
Really?
I think I was just so like they needed to tap into it. But I think I was a really hard person. I
Yeah.
had a lot on my shoulders. And I was carrying it like
Yeah.
secretly. Like people knew I was poor, people knew that I had a single mom, but the amount of like trauma and instability and crap that was happening at my house, like still a lot of people don't even know that kind of stuff. And
Hmm.
so I just think, yeah, I think it was easier for them just to ignore me than it was to try to
Yeah.
actually make a difference. And I
Yep.
understand. It makes
Yeah.
sense to me.
Um, what I we kind of touched on this a little bit, but like what are some assumptions you think that educators sometimes make about students facing poverty or family incarceration? Because I know
Well,
you mentioned like, of course, oh, she's not going to come to school. She's not, you know, whatever. So why even put the time in?
yeah, yeah. I think that I think people assumed I was stupid.
Hmm.
Um, when I like in elementary school, they put me in all these special ed classes, but like by the time I hit college, I was a tutor. So like I wasn't stupid. I didn't have the capacity, right? So
Yeah.
there's a difference between having capacity and actually needing or like being able to excel. And so I think that's the big one for me is that like just because you're poor, single mom, history of abuse, all these things, it doesn't mean that I don't have the same potential or same capacity as somebody else. It just means
Yeah.
I just don't have the time for it. So
That's such a
that
good,
would be.
valid, yeah, point. Um, what do you think your lived experiences influence, or how do you think they influence the way that you work with your families and be, like in your work day to day?
Oh, I think I am 10 times better social worker than most people. And I don't mean to brag about it. It just means I can relate. I
Yeah.
can sit in the icky and I know exactly how it feels. I'm not afraid to sit in it. I think, when people talk about things that I've experienced, people are like, it's too hard for you to listen to. And it's like, no, I've heard it all, or I've been in it myself. And so I can just relate and I can empathize. So I just think I'm more comfortable in it. I'm more
Yeah.
comfortable in the gross. And I think that,
Not only that, but like you're a success
like that.
story for like a real like in-person success story that these people can be like, oh, okay, so it's possible, you know. Um, what do you wish teachers understood better about students dealing with trauma or instability?
Yeah. Um, I don't know if there's anything I would want them to know other than I would just say that I do think that there's moments when I was younger that teachers could have made a difference,
Yeah.
which would have made a big difference.
What do you think that they could have done?
I think I just needed someone. I mean, I needed a lot of things. Um, but I think I needed to felt like I wasn't judged. I think I needed it felt like I had value that
Mhm.
wasn't based on perceived assumptions. That like even though you're poor, even though you're all these things, like you still can be like
Hmm.
this person. Um, and I think I just needed, and I see this a lot, you know, with people who've had just like really hard histories. Like they're just hard. Like they're cold. And that was me. Like that was
Hmm.
like I was freaking cold. You weren't going to break me if you even tried. But I do think, you know, me doing this work, like I do that all day long, where like I'm connecting and breaking down those walls for people, and like being that first person to do that.
Yeah.
Um, and I would just encourage teachers to look for that student that is cold, that is withdrawn, that is maybe angry, and just finding ways to connect with them, whether it starts just superficially and then it allows you to dig deep to give them an outlet. But don't run from those students. Like
Yeah.
that would be the students that I would be chasing after and be the ones that I would be pouring into.
Yeah. I think that's such a good point. Were there any like teachers or anybody in the school system that you felt made an impact though in a positive way, or was it totally just
I mean, I think some might have tried, and then I just,
they didn't put like pour in enough?
yeah, I think it was like they maybe dabbled in it, you know, like tested
Yeah.
me out for a minute, and I just was like, I wasn't ready. I wasn't there.
Hmm.
I needed space and time from the trauma before I was able to break the walls down. But I did have one teacher. He didn't like emotionally tap into me, but he did academically, um, which did make a difference. It was kind of when I started to kind of turn around, where I was like, "Oh, I'm not stupid. I'm like
Yeah.
super smart." And then I started to kind of apply myself a little bit more. But he yeah, he was actually new to the school district, so didn't know who I was.
Mm.
And so just like came at me from a different angle. He hit some spots that no one had hit before because he hadn't
Yeah.
like thrown me into the box that everyone else had. So he did kind of move me a little bit more like academically. Like,
Oh,
hey,
good. That's
wow,
good.
like you're really smart. Like I tell you one thing and like you actually retain it. And so like he did a little bit of that.
Oh, good. Well, at least there's, I mean, not a lot of positive, but hopefully schools are getting better about that. Is there, if you had one thing that future educators could do to create more equitable classrooms, what do you think that would be?
Oh.
I know, it's a tough one. And it's hard, I think, to just like narrow it down to one
Yeah,
thing.
and I just think everyone's experiences, you know, like I was from a very, very small, like rural town in Iowa. That's different than if you were like in
Yeah.
Minneapolis. You know what I mean? So like my experience is just so much different than um others.
I think
Um
even if you go back and say like what you were talking about with teachers, if they would even just take the time and pour in a little bit into those students, like be a little bit more understanding of what other people are going through. They don't only have school. Like that's a good, I think, to make it a little more equitable too.
yeah. Yeah. I would just remember that every behavior is like there's a reason for it. whether it makes sense to you or whether it's a good behavior or bad behavior, like there's always like there's like logical reason for it in that person's head, right? Like, so I gypped school a lot, and of course, everyone just thought that was bad, but no one ever was like, "What is the reason?
Right.
Like, what is she hiding from or running from? Like, what's the reason for that?" And so I just like to remind people that like we like to judge behavior, we never like to understand behavior, and I think I would just remind educators
That's
like
such a good point.
come to understand the behavior. Like there's a logical reason behind it if you just ask the questions and figure it out versus just constantly judging the behavior.
Yeah. No, that's a really good one, actually. Was there anything else about your experience that you think comes to you that I didn't ask or talk about or?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, that was it.
Great.
Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah. Sorry for all the chaos.
No, that's okay. We figured it out. I think this is it's like the next best thing. So, at least I think visually seeing somebody and connecting their story to their face instead of just reading it out on paper is good. So whether it's in person or this way, that's all good.
Perfect.
Well, I'll let you get back to work.
Yes. I think I
Consider
got
your
emails
birthday.
sitting here.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, thank you
okay.
again for
Yeah, of
meeting
course.
with me. Bye, Carrie.
Bye. Have a good day.
You too.